Alright guys, welcome back once again to IG8Live Esports. We're live once again for the NOMEX Championship with Tier 1 and Round 2 here for the United States Grand Prix. Should be quite an interesting one. Everything seems to be dry for the session so far, so hopefully it continues that way. We'll see what's going to happen by the time we get around to the end of qualifying. So currently in qualifying 1, we got about just under 16 minutes remaining out of the total of 18 minutes that we usually get. Got a few cars already out on track on the out laps, just getting it warmed up a bit, and we should start to see some lap times coming here pretty shortly here. At the moment on with Doom Vista here on an out lap still. Let's have a look how much further he has to go before getting started, and he's about to get on the start finish straight right now and get started with a hot lap here. Let's see how that goes. So quite an interesting elevation change of at least 133 feet, I think, getting up into turn 1. So kind of a blind eye getting around turn 1, then straight into turn 2. We will have, or we tend to have a lot of cars going wide into turn 1 on the opening lap of a race. Getting through that S section, quite difficult as well to avoid invalidating a lap. As you can see, Doom Vista gets through pretty well. We're going to keep on board just a bit more and see how he gets through the rest of the lap. But so far, so good, as we can see him just trying to maneuver through these turns and keep the lap from getting invalidated as well. So a bit of a heavy braking zone getting here, and quite a sharp left-hander getting around. A bit of an interesting overtaking point there as well during the race. So always interesting to see how that works out. And welcome to everyone in the chat. Thanks for everyone who's joining us on the session. Thanks once again for Wildflower for hosting us on Twitch there. And welcome to Jonathan in the chat there. See, he's been on since we actually started the stream. About to have him in. I think we're around in sector 3 here right now, final sector of the track. Always a bit tricky to get around as well. So let's see what lap times are going to start to look like. We might have a lap time coming before this. I think we're one of the Mercedes maybe. Waiting to see what that's going to be like, as still waiting for Doom Vista to get around the track here as well. Just about 2 more turns I think before he gets across the line. That's the pit entry on the left hand side here. And not too hard to get in, but still, we'll see how drivers deal with that there. So a 132.0 here from Doom Vista. First lap time to actually get in for the qualifying 1 session so far. Let's have a look and see who is going to be next to bring a lap time in. And looks like that was TJ Hale there, 133.6. Then goes Project Raw, goes 132.6, about a second faster than what TJ Hale did. So lap times are going to be quite a bit interesting. Welcome to Wildflower in the Twitch chat there as well. I see Ace is already out of qualifying here. Unfortunate for that. So that leaves, we still got a full grid of drivers to deal with here for the entire session that we have this evening here. So it should still be a good race here. We're going to see how well that's going to go. Has been quite a while since I've been actually driven on this track, and haven't really done it on 2021 so far. But we'll see how these drivers manage it so far going through. Looks pretty good. Lucky gets a 132.1 down on the second. And let's see, Justy goes down to 5th, 153.7. Not the best of lap, but definitely will be having an improvement from that. Let's switch on through, see who else is running. Mad Nathan, invalidated lap there. And the way we usually know that, for I know some of you guys don't actually know what that's happening with that. So once the track goes red, I'm on the driver. That means they just invalidated the lap. They cannot cut the corner just to make a faster lap time. So that's what happens sometimes, because the rules are, I think, usually set to strict on most of these leagues. You see Peter here getting through turn 1 there right now. I think turn 1 is one of the most interesting turns here for Circuit of the Americas, because it's just a bit blind getting through turn 1 up into that braking zone, and you got to just be very careful with it. Alright, so that is a lap messed up there. So Peter's going to have to try that again. That's the invalidated lap for him. Let's go on down to Jonathan here in P11 at the moment. No time yet for the Williams rifle. Let's see when he does get a time in. On a hot lap at the moment. Getting through sector 1 there, section there. Gets through pretty well so far, so good. Always a bit difficult to maneuver through that. And this is going to be a 28 lap race here around the Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. So they're going to have to do that 28 times without invalidating a lap. And just to try and avoid getting a penalty. So we're going to see how that's going to work out for the drivers. Let's switch back to the overhead cam and have a look as he's going through sector 2 here at the moment. A very long straight here, always an interesting overtaking point as well, and a DRS zone that usually helps drivers in terms of trying to gain a position as well on track during the race there. So Let's keep an eye and see what's going to happen during that race session. Hopefully it's a dry race getting on through. Not sure if we want a wet race here. Of course, we do have Tier 2 for the NOMEX Championship coming up on Thursday for their round 2 as well. And that's going to be for the United States Grand Prix as well. Of course, a different set of drivers. Hopefully another full grid, and we're going to see how that's going to go. It's going to be at the same time as we just started here today on Thursday. So looking forward to see what that's going to be like. Alright, we got Jonathan getting around the final turn there, about to get across the start-finish straight, and goes fastest in the session at 131.3. Pretty impressive lap if you ask me so far, and I think that's going to hold up quite well for him as he's pulling to the side of the track. They're just allowing everyone to get by. Let's see who else is currently running on track at the moment. Night Shadow here on with a Red Bull. Let's see, is he glitching out a bit? I'm not sure. I think he's on a hot lap at the moment, getting through Sector 2 now. So we want to see if the Red Bull driver can get a pretty good time. And I think we got at least close to half of the grid with lap times in so far. And welcome to Gamer in the chat. Welcome to Alan Leeson there as well. And that is Ace there in the grid order that we have on the board there. He is the owner for the NOMEX Championship League. And he lost it. And yep, I would expect there would be some good pace around here. I had just about half of a lap on this track since I actually had the game, just to when I was just making the thumbnail. I was just using it for that. So I haven't actually done a full lap on the US circuit as yet on the new game. So quite interested to see what the pace is actually like around here. We're gonna see how it's going to go in terms of race pace time when we do get around to that. Oh, the stream chat is not on the stream at the moment there, Gamer. I kind of took that off for some other reasons. I'm going to be putting something else up there later on, but I haven't said it as yet. So we kind of took that off for now. And Night Shadow goes up to second fastest on the grid, 131.5. Not too bad at all because it's just about 2/10 off of Jonathan's time. So going to be an interesting battle out front when we do get around to that race session time. Who else is currently running a lap? We got J Martz here in the Ferrari. Definitely, I think he did a lap already. I'm trying to see if he's trying to do another one here right now, which I think he is. This is always quite an interesting braking zone as drivers try to get back on the power and sometimes spin it around. So they gotta be careful about this. And I thought he was going wide, but I think that was just a bit of a glitch. Probably on his end or my end. I'm not even sure which end it is, but we'll see what's gonna go on with that. I still gotta fix that night, but that schedule is not correct. It's that was last season's schedule. We'll have to update that soon, probably after the stream. I don't want to go do that right now. Alright guys, so majority of the grid with lap times in, and we can see Jonathan still fastest in the session at 131.3. J Martz goes up to 7th now, 132.1. Night Shadow still in second. We got Kiddo down to third at 131.8. Eruptors goes to 4th, 132.0, and 132.021. We got Paul down to 5th, just below him, 132.083, just about 600 of a second between them. Quite interested to see what's happening. Doom Vista down to 6, another 100th of a second away. So we got 4th, 5th, and 6th currently very close off together. Going to be interesting throughout this qualifying session. Down under just under 8 minutes left right about now. So let's see what the rest of the grid is going to be doing. Lucky down to 8. Project Raw goes down to 9 with his 132.2. A lot of 132s in this session, and they're actually pretty close up just by a tenth or two or a few hundred of a second. Peter down to 10, Jesse down to 11, Pollock down to 12. We got Ice 1 and 13. TJ Hale goes down to 14. Remember, he was one of the first drivers to set a lap time in here, and he's on another outlap, trying to get a faster time in. Mad Nathan's still back into the pits. Kieran Barr out with the Red Bull at the moment, trying to get a good lap time in, trying to match his teammate, who is currently up in second on the grid order here, and with a pretty good time. So let's see if he's able to do that. Need to get some really good points in for our Red Bull this week. So let's see what that's going to work out. We're going to go through the standings from last week in maybe later on in the session, and just have a look and see what's happened last week with that race there. Got Jim Strap down in 18, no time as yet. Luna Strike in 19, trying to get a time as well. Still following on with Kieran Barr. Let's have a look on board, see if he's having some trouble with this lap or getting through pretty well. Gets a purple sector 1, so I gotta say he's looking pretty good so far on the lap. Just trying to keep that Red Bull as stable as possible. Gets back on the power as quickly as he can as well. Let's switch back to that overhead cam and have a look. So we do expect a pretty good time for him. Jonathan there on another outlap right about now, trying to get a faster time in if he can. Night Shadow already out of the session with his 131.5, which will hold up pretty well of taking him over into qualifying 2. And remember, it is only the top 15 that should be going on over. Well, usually that goes over there to Q2. So we'll see what that session is going to be like when we do get around to it. But it's going to be a bit interesting. So let's see what happens. Once again, thanks to everyone who is currently joining on the live stream with us. Guys, please make sure you're following us on Twitch and do subscribe to on YouTube. Make sure you give the stream a like. Also, we're live on Facebook as well. Do check out the link for the stream. If you're not able to find the link or find where it is for the other social platforms, just join our Discord. Link is in the description of the video, and you will be able to find all the links there of just everywhere, just about everywhere where we go live. Alright, so 134.9 for Kieran Bar so far. Not the best of time, but he's going to have to try and improve it if he can. Let's see, with the Aston Martin of James Trav here at the moment. Invalidated lap. As you can see, that the entire track is red, so we know what happened with that there, which is why you're going to see them probably try to get another lap started here, which he's trying to do right about now. Now, the interesting thing about an invalidated lap is if you invalidate way too close to the start-finish line on a lap, the next lap is not gonna count as well. You gotta just go back all the way around, you know, just go into the pits and then get back out, which will make no sense going all the way around, because you can't invalidate like just about a turn or two away. It just doesn't count the next lap. If you do that, you have to do it in the first or second sector, and then you'll be able to actually continue on a start a new lap with that same set of tires. So drivers do have to be careful about all of this, and that's kind of information they all have to know as well. But during regular drivers, I think just about everyone knows all this. Alright, so let's have a look who else is currently running. Back with Jonathan out front, still the fastest guy here in the session as he gets around that final turn back onto the start-finish straight. And let's see if he improves. 131.3 and does improve to a 130.7. Quite an improvement from him. Still holds on to P1 there. Beat his own lap time for this session. I gotta say that's quite impressive because he's now the only car into the 130s. And I think that's just gonna hold him there. I highly doubt we might have a fast time coming right about now. Maybe in Q2 or Q3. We'll see what's gonna happen. Of course, remember qualifying 2 is gonna be where these guys are gonna be focused most on race strategy in terms of tires, because whatever tires they do the fastest laps on there, that set of tires will have to be used to start the race, provided they make it over to qualifying 3. And it is a dry race start. If it's a wet race start, they are gonna have a free choice of tires to get through started with that. So let's see what's gonna happen in that case. Just about 3.5 minutes left here for qualifying 1. So still waiting to see what's going to happen with our few drivers that we do have at the bottom of the grid. Of course, we got Ace there. That's Alan going to be pushed down to the bottom with his 0 lap time that he has. Luna Strike there, 133.0. He's going to be left with that. Let's see. Hopefully that can hold him up into 15th. But I don't know if he's going to be able to make it over to the next session. We'll see what that's going to be like. At the moment, it's not looking good. Ice One, Pollock still in a bit of a dangerous situation. We got Jim Straff and Scooby Dong at the bottom of the grid. Yet to make a lap time. Mad Nathan still yet to make a time there as well. Kieran Barr can try to improve his time. So quite a few drivers are in a bit on the drop zone side of things and might actually get pushed down just a bit. We'll see what's going to happen with that back. Still on board with Jim Straff here in the Aston Martin to see if he's able to get a fast time in and possibly put himself up maybe into the top 10. All he needs to do is I think just try to not invalidate the lap right about now. And there was a Red Bull going the wrong side of the track. Now you can get disqualified from the session if you're going on the wrong side, because that's going to be deemed dangerous driving and it's not allowed here in F1. So I'm not sure what's going on with the Red Bull there. Was that Kieran Barr? I think that was him. I'm not sure. I think he was having some trouble getting back on track there. Back up with Project Ross, still on an invalidated lap here. Doesn't look like Aston Martin is having the best of the... Or is that Night Shadow's car just stuck on the side of the track somewhere? I'm not sure what's happening with that there. But Red Bull definitely not having the best of days either here. Let's get down at the bottom of the grid with Scooby here in the here in the AlphaTauri. Let's see if we're gonna get a faster lap out of him, possibly put him up into the top 10 or top 12 maybe, and possibly able to keep this to go over into qualifying 2 at the moment. Just about a minute 15 seconds remaining here for Q1. Now we're getting so close down to the end of it. It's gonna be quite interesting to see what our top 15 going over the Q2 is gonna look like. And there goes that car losing the rear end. I think most of you would have seen that coming as he got off that turn a bit too early on the power as he got off of it, so it does kind of cause the rear to start to spin, and that's gonna be it for the session. Because we can see the entire suspension on the left side is off. So he's going to be out for Q2, so won't be able to make it over. Looks like he goes down all the way to 20th on the grid. That means he is going to be starting 20th. We're going to have a look at that starting grid fully when we get to the formation lap after all 3 qualifying sessions. Adam, we're still waiting for this session to close off in about 35 seconds and then get straight on over into that. So let's have a look, see what else is happening on track. A bit of overtaking happening in the pit lane there right now. They might want to be a bit careful about that. I think we're trying to follow on with Project Raw here in the Aston Martin. Aston Martin not having the best of day. Jim Straff, no lap time in. Project Raw down to 11th on the grid. He might be making it over the qualifying too, but his teammate definitely doesn't look like he will unless he gets the time in. He got a time in, but it's a 136.4, puts him into 17th. And I don't think that's going to be good enough. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make another lap on the same set of tires that he's currently running on. Of course, his teammate Project Raw just went up to 3rd on the grid, 131.6, guaranteed into qualifying 2 at this point. Majority of the drivers are already finished off with this session as it is. So let's see what's going to happen as we get further down to the end of this here. Okay, so about to close off this session. I think we're at the end of it. The timer is actually up there right now. So Mad Nathan was not able to make a time. Ace, unfortunately, Bindit didn't get to make a lap time either. Scooby was out of the session without a lap time as well. So it looks like that's going to be a starting grid for the bottom 5 of them. Because we got Kieran Barron 16, James Straff 17, Mad Nathan 18, Asen 19 down at the bottom of the grid, and Scooby down till on the final position in 20th on the grid. We're going to see how that race start goes for them. It's going to be quite interesting because midfield is going to get a bit bunched up. I mean, the front of the grid might be able to get away pretty well and get around turn 1 before all of the chaos starts to happen with midfield, and then those at the back of the grid might be able to stay back just a bit and watch what's happening as they try to get through just whatever chaos is going to happen through turn 1. I'm not sure as yet. We've already advised everyone to be careful breaking into turn 1 here at the Circuit of the Americas, because it is going to get quite dicey with that one. We'll see what's going to happen when the guys get around to it, but drivers do try to get as much positions as they can getting through the first opening lap of race. It's where drivers usually tend to gain the most positions and possibly continue to the race and get maybe really some good points for the team and for themselves for the drivers championship as well. So we'll see how that's going to work. So at the end of Q1, let's have a look at the qualifying 1 results. Fastest time in that session goes to Jonathan there with a 130.7 in the Williams. Nice shot will take 2nd place on the grid with that. Project Rob up to 3rd. Justin in 4th. Kato there in 5th. We got the Raptors in 6th. Paul 7. Dune Vista 8. TJ Hale 9. T. Martin 10. Lucky in 11. Peter 12. Pollock 13. We got Ice 1 in 14. And let's see who made 15 on that one there. And actually no one to make 15 because one driver was out early off in the session. Does reduce it down to 14 on the grid going over to qualifying 2. Looks like Luna will start 15, Kieran Barr 16, James Shaw 17, Man 18, 18, Ace in 19, and Scooby down in 28 on the grid. I've known you too long, Ace. I gotta rub it in a bit. Let's see if he improves when getting started with that race as well. Go right. So into qualifying 2, 15 minutes already on the clock. We got 14 drivers in this. Let's see what's going to happen and who's going to be the first to get out on track. Remember, they have to get out on their out laps first, then get around to the hot laps there. So we'll see how well that's going. Now, in this case, we are going to put tires on because we want to see what these guys are going to try to qualify on, because this is going to be important in terms of the aspect of getting started with the race. In the meanwhile, can someone please tell me, are we having a dry race or a wet race? Drivers who are not currently participating in qualifying 2, can you just check the weather and see what's happening with that in terms of I don't know if they're allowed to check it at this point in the session. I haven't done this in so long, so hopefully someone can check what the weather is going to be like during the race session itself, if we're going to have any rain, because it's going to be interesting to see what happens if it tends to start to rain maybe at some point in the rain. Alright, so we got quite a few cars getting out already. It's 14 cars to be on the grid here, so not going to be overly of a busy track going through this qualifying session. So let's see who's going to be the first driver on to set a lap time here. Trying to see who's out in front here at the moment. And I think I had it for a second. There we go. So it's Doom Vista in the Haas running out in front, and he's probably going to be the first one to set a lap time in. And welcome Owen Duxbury to the chat. I've been robbed. Should have been Q2 here, but oh well. Who is Owen, by the way? Whose PSN name is Owen? I'm not sure who that is. Just point it out. And subscribe to the YouTube channel as you're at it. Oh, okay, I get it. It was supposed to be top 15 cars, but unfortunately it was only 14 going on over, so that's why Owen there was out of qualifying 2. Oh, Luna Strike. Okay, I got it. Unfortunately, it does happen sometimes that way. It just depends when a driver is early off in the session. This tends to happen, which is what I've noticed. All the way from F1 2020 coming to F1 2021, it's the same situation that happens. So it's not always 15 drivers going over to qualifying 2. It's just that the game doesn't allow it that way for some reason. Alright, so let's see. We're going to have some lap time start to pour in here. In just a bit, so let's see what that's going to look like as our drivers are trying to get these laps started here. Quite a few drivers already on their hot laps, a few more on out laps, still a few in the pits, so a bit of a mix of that. And let's see, they're trying to give each other space, and let's see what's going to happen. Remember, we're down to about 12 minutes already left here. And we do have, we're still following on with Doom Vista there in the Haas, still waiting for his time to come on in, and he is currently in sector 3, so we'll be able to see a lap time from him in less than a minute or so at least. So let's just give that a bit. And thank you to Jonathan there letting us know it's gonna be a full dry race. Alright guys, so that information coming through from Jonathan looks like it's going to be a full dry race all the way through, which is going to be interesting to see. So we'll be going at full race pace on this one, and we all up the strategy here. Looks like majority of the drivers are trying this on the mediums here at the moment. Got about 2 drivers only on softs, so let's see what going to happen in that case. So Doom Vista 132.9, Peter down to 133.5 in second. DJ Hill goes third, 133.5. Night Shadow now takes away second with a 133.4, pushes the grid down, Justin down to fifth, now 134.2. Eruptus out of the session already. Where is he out on track? I think that happened in sector 2, because there was a yellow flag situation over there, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Either way, he is out, down to 13 drivers left here in the session. See how they finish this off. J Martz with a 141.9, not the best of time. They're going to need to improve that as much as he can. Trying to follow who else is currently running here at the moment. Jonathan on an outlap right about now. We'll switch back to him. Just where is he on track? Actually, he's about to get started again. We'll get started now on this outlap actually. But we're gonna have a bit of a look on board with Jonathan as he gets through this lap. Let's see if he's able to do a repeat and have the fastest lap here in Q2 as well. Ace is starting 19th on the grid, so I'm not sure if anyone's going to smash into him or he's going to smash into someone. I want to see what's going to happen on that race start. You better make it through lap 1 on this race. And Owen is going to be in a bit of a dangerous spot. He's going to be directly in the midfield. And it's going to be in all of the chaos that's going to happen getting through turn 1. I definitely expect we're going to see some cars going wide. I'm not sure if we're expecting a safety car on the opening lap of this race or not. It might just happen, just depends on how much damage is going to happen on the opening lap. Or you might just go to a VSC if you have too much debris on track. Just see, depends what happens. We'll see how that's going to go. Still on with Jonathan here to finish off Sector 3 at the moment and should get some more lap times coming on in. I see Pollock is on a hot lap there as well. Now, all of these guys doing this on the mediums. Now, I'm not sure what sort of strategy they're actually looking to run here. Remember, it's a 28 lap race. They might just be inching towards a one-stop strategy here. They could just run a medium to hard strategy. I'm not sure how that medium to soft or soft to medium strategy will work on this track. Haven't done a USGP in quite a while, so I'm really not too familiar with what strategy these guys usually tend to use here. We'll see what's going to happen in that case. But yep, Jonathan goes up fastest in the session, not surprising there, a 132.3. Now he's only about 6/10 off of Doom Vista, so going to be interesting to see if anyone can catch up to his lap time and possibly get a faster time in. Paul here in the Alpha Tauri still trying to get his lap time in, going into Sector 3 at the moment. We already got 3 drivers out of this session. Unfortunately, TJ Hill actually did get a lap time though, 133.9, but I don't think he made it back to the pit lane, which is why it didn't count. And he's not within the grid as it is, because we can see it's a 133.9. Should have put him somewhere around 5th, but because he didn't make it back to the pit lane, you gotta make it back to the pit lane when you make a lap time. Otherwise, it actually doesn't count. If you DNF the session before making it back into the garage, your lap time is not gonna count in the qualifying session. Always tends to happen. So I've seen it happen a bunch of times. So unfortunate for him. Looks like he's gonna go down probably to 12th by the end of this. We'll see how that's gonna work out. Paulo goes up to 6th right now, 134.4, and I'm just gonna hold on to that. Let's go on back down here with Paul in the McLaren at the moment, trying to get a lap in Sector 2 down that very long straight at the back there. Alright guys, so Paul up to P4 right about now, 133.0, gonna hold up pretty well. Number is only the top 10 that are gonna be making it on over into qualifying 3. And qualifying 2 basically works out to what tires these guys are gonna be starting the race on. And we already know we're having a full dry race. Already 4 drivers out of this session right now. We got TJ Hill out, Pollock is out. As we can see, he made a 134.4, a faster time than at least one driver on the grid, but didn't make it back to the pits. And he's out there as well. So Ice One and Lucky down the bottom of the grid. I think they just need to make a lap time in any lap time, and it's going to put them over into qualifying 3 here. J Mart's at 141.9. Let's see if he's able to make a faster time than that at this point here. I'll switch this down to Lucky down at the bottom here in the house. Let's see what he's up to at the moment. Okay, so we can see a few drivers are now kind of making a switch over to the soft tires, which is usually what these guys tend to do during qualifying. Why there's there's a tire in the middle of the track. Why is there a tire in the middle of the track? I don't know what happened, but somebody left their tires in the middle of the track. Alright, so invalidated laps. Oh, sorry, he didn't get started his lap. Yes, I thought it was an invalidated lap there from Lucky. So he's still trying to get started on that one there. So Jonathan fastest in the session so far in the Williams there. We got Ice One here running second at the moment, 132.4 in the Alpine. And holds on to a pretty good place. Dune Vista down to third at the moment, still back into the bisque. We got Kiddo down into fourth, Paul in fifth, Night Shadow in sixth, Peter 7. Getting started on another lap here right now, trying to get a faster time in if he can. We'll see how that's going to go. As you can see, that elevation change is quite steep going upwards there, and a bit of a blind turn, as I said before, in Q1, getting a wrong turn 1, as you can see on the front wings aspect. I remember the driver is not too much further up from that. So just shows you what exactly they're seeing as they get on through that. And that's already an invalidated lap there from Peter. Unfortunately, he's going to try that again if he has enough time. We're just about 3.5 minutes left in the session. Justy down to 8th. J Mars down to 11th. Lucky down to 14th. So I'm quite interested to see how this change-up is going to work with the top 10 to go over to Q3 here. Or if we're going to have 10 go on over into qualifying 3. We're going to see how that's going to work out. Once again, back with Lucky here on his lap. He had a purple sector 1, so let's see how the rest of that current lap is going to go. Okay, so Lucky finally gets a lap time in. It's a 133.2, puts him at the 6, so that's definitely going to be able to push him through to qualifying 3 at this point. Jonathan still holding the fastest lap in the session, so that's both Q1 and Q2 fastest lap so far. Currently the session is a 132.3. It's only a 10th faster right about now than what Ice One did, because he has a 132.4. Of course, Ice One did it on the soft, Jonathan on the medium. Let's see what's going to happen down in Q3. What's going on with Nightbot and Jonathan there in the chat? I'm not even sure what that is. I'll have to have a look at that Nightbot situation later on. Just ignore it for now. There goes the tire again. I think someone crashed out in that portion of the track or something. So it's one of the drivers that actually DNF'd the session here, and I think that's just a bit of a glitch that happened there. Kind of expected. Still just about a minute left here for qualifying 2 to finish this off right about now, guys. So let's see what's going to happen. J Mart seems to be on a lap here, but unfortunately invalidated that lap, so that definitely isn't going to count. And now Peter gets the fastest lap in the session. Barely caught that from him, a 132.326, only 200th of a second faster than what Jonathan did, and gets a pretty good lap. Even though he was on the softs, he took him about 2 laps actually on the set of tires to get that lap in, but not a bad lap time from him. About 2/300th of a second faster than what Jonathan did, so pretty impressive. Let's see if he can continue that over in qualifying 3 and possibly get provisional pole for the start of the US Grand Prix for this one. And hello Gio, thank you for joining on the chat. And yep, there's a tire on the loose. There it goes again. I'm not sure whose tire it is, but someone DNF'd the qualifying 2 session at that portion of the track. Whoever it was left a tire in the middle of the track. No idea if the FIA is going to look into that. Alright, we're done. We're kind of done with the qualifying 2. I think we're just waiting for 1 or 2 drivers just to finish up their laps before we get the results here and head over into qualifying 3, which is going to be a short 12-minute session and then get straight into the race session itself, which we've all been waiting for. I definitely want to see how the race start is going to go uphill into turn 1 or this one. I haven't done a US Grand Prix in quite a while, not even F1 2020. Usually something always comes up whenever I have a US Grand Prix to stream, so definitely interested to see why is there a Ferrari down at the side of the track now. Is that another tire or something? How many tires are left on track? I'm not sure what sort of glitch is happening, but there's a lot of tires left on track. Did someone DM this session that bad? Yep, it is a tire glitch. I wonder how many we'll see during the race in that case. But quite an interesting glitch. Alright, so I think that's the end of qualifying 2 there, guys. Let's have a look at the results and see what's going to happen in that case. Either way, I think the circuit is just going to use the tires and make up the tire barriers with it. Alright, unfortunately, only 9 drivers to go on over into qualifying 3. I had a feeling that might happen because how many drivers were out early off in the session. So TJ Hale in the Alpine is going to lose out on qualifying 3. We'll have to start 10th on the grid. So it looks like Peter got the fastest lap time in. Jonathan Down in 2nd. We got Ice One in 3rd. Dune Vista 4th. Kiddo there 5th. Paul in 6th. Lucky 7th. Night Shadow 8th. Justy there in 9th. And that's our top 9 drivers going over into Q3. And as you can see, the tires that are going to be starting the race on 2 drivers starting on the softs. 7 will have to start on the mediums. So that's going to be mandatory for them because they're already going over into qualifying 3. And we can see where the rest of the grid will start. We'll go through the entire starting grid as it as we go through the formation lap. Hopefully, Mart's left that on for us, because that's what kind of the reason I like formation laps to be on instead of getting started with the race right away. It allows me to bring up the map and set all the settings, set everything up so you guys can have information as we get on through. Yep, it is raining tires. Alright, so into qualifying 3, we're already with 12 minutes down on the clock going. And let's see who's going to be first out on track. So this is kind of why I like a formation lap. I like to set all of this stuff up before we actually get started with the session. We know it's all going to be soft tires. We're not going to put that on. And let's have a look at what's going to happen as we get through here. Who's going to be first to get out on track? Not a lot of time. We already got some drivers setting out already. I'm not sure who's going to be first out there. Trying to have a look at that right now. Looks like it's Jonathan out first. Has a Haas behind of him. They might be racing a bit just to get the first lap time in because they want some free air in front of them. Okay, so I think we got majority of our drivers. 7 drivers already out on track. We'll probably have the next 2 get out in just a bit. Night Shadow and Kiddo still in the pit. But the rest of our drivers are already out and trying to get this going. Let's have a look. Who is out in front? I think it's the other Haas. That's going to be Doom Vista there. Currently out in front. So he most likely is going to be the first driver setting a lap time because Jonathan just fell along just behind of him. It's going to be kind of funny if we have a loose tire on the race session itself and someone actually crashes into it and breaks their front wing. I'm going to have a laugh then because I don't know what's going to happen in that case. That's going to be a driver out. Because if it's not ghosted, it definitely is going to cause some problems. Alright, so Doom Vista on with his lap here right about now. And getting through the S's here. Very difficult getting through this section without invalidating a lap. As I said, they're going to have to do this 28 times in a row just to avoid penalties and whatnot in the race. We'll see how that's going to go. Almost lost the rear end just a bit there. Do we have a driver behind him? Nope, not at the moment there. We're gonna have a look like this unless one of the cars are going uphill in turn 1. We'll have a look at that and see what's gonna happen. Either way, let's just keep an eye and see what's gonna happen. So Night Shadow and Kiddo now out on track. I think they were just trying to get some clear area in front of them, with the rest of the grid just going further on first. So let's see what the lap times are going to be looking like as we finish up this session very soon. It's not going to be a very long session. Qualifying 3 always very short, and drivers will get out early to most likely run 2 sets of laps or possibly 3 sets, depends what happens. Hello Zia, thank you for joining on there. Please guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Do leave a like on the video. Do appreciate you guys doing that, and make sure you're following us on Twitch. All of you drivers who are not in the Q3 session have nothing to do, make sure you do that for me. Thank you very much, and welcome again to everyone who currently is on the live stream here with us this evening. Alright, so we got some lap times in. Jonathan, of course, fastest time in so far, 130.9. Lucky Down with a 131.6. Doomvis the third with a 132.1. Peter, 133.7. We're all over the place right about now with lap times, and I think that's going to be sorted a bit more as we get on through with the second half of the session. And that's a rear wing view of getting uphill into turn 1. Okay, so invalidated lap there from Paul. Unfortunately, back on now with Night Shadow. So 6 drivers in with lap time so far. Kiddo out of the session, unfortunately, for whatever happened with that there. I'm not sure. So it looks like he's going to be starting 9th on the grid. Already in qualifying 3, so the worst you're going to start is 9th here. If it was 10 drivers, it would have been 10th. I'm interested to see if anyone is going to be going faster than a 130.9 than what Jonathan did there. Of course, we have our second round of laps to go in just a bit. Hello Games for Life, thank you for joining on this stream. Alright, so 131.6, sorry, I've been distracted on Q3 session. 131.6 from Night Shadow, so Jonathan still the fastest lap in the session. And Lucky they're down in 2nd. Let's see who else is left to make a lap time. Ice One currently running here in 6th with a 132.5. Not sure if the Alpine driver is trying to make a fast time at the moment, but does seem to be trying to push as much as he can through the lap here. I would say a bit too much on the inside when that's just his racing line that he gets through. Most drivers would tend to take it on the outside of the track and use up as much of the curb as possible. And yep, it has been a while. Alright, let's get back on with this. So I think most of our drivers are back into the pits, or trying to get back into the pits. That's the Alpine out there, because yes, he invalidated that lap right down at the end actually too. That's why he's getting back into the pits. Gonna get a new set of tires and then get back out for a final go at a lap here. Paul's still on an out lap, hasn't got a lap time in as yet. So have a look where the McLaren driver is on track here into sector 2 at the moment on that back straight with the DRS zone. Gonna have to keep an eye on this sector of the track because this is where a lot of overtakes are gonna happen going down into the upcoming turn here right about now, because very deep to dive on the inside and kind of tight as well, especially the braking zone getting around here. Going to be a very interesting point to see what happens as we get through that track during the race with close gaps between drivers. As you see, the majority of our drivers are currently back into the pits right now. We're going to keep an eye and see when they get back out and how those laps are going to go. Peter here on another lap, I think, at the moment. Interestingly enough, that was a purple sector 1 from Peter. Now remember, Peter was the guy that beat Jonathan for fastest lap time over in Q2. Okay, I think it was Peter there, yeah. So let's see if he's going to be able to do this again here in Q3. Because this is kind of going to be all about who gets provisional pole for start of the race for starting in P1. So I think it's going to be, I'm not sure what you guys think. I think it's coming down between Jonathan and Peter for P1 start here. Or I think it's going to be a 1-2 start between the two of them. Let's see what's going to happen. Lucky they had a pretty good lap time right about now. With a 130.9 there from Jonathan at the moment. Going to be pretty hard to beat, but let's see what the lap time is looking like. It's already been a purple sector 1. I didn't pay attention if it was a purple sector 2 or not. But getting through sector 3 here at the moment. Seems to be flying through the lap as well in the Alfa Romeo. So let's see if he's able to finish off the lap and possibly get a faster time than what Jonathan has. A 130.9 and goes up to P4, only a 131.8. Might actually try for another lap on the same set of tires because why not at this point here. So let's see what's going to happen as he continues on with that. Jonathan still in the pit. Doesn't look like he's going to get out for another lap here. A few more drivers are out, of course, on track. Let's go back with Doom Vista here and see what's happening with him in the house. Alright guys, final 30 seconds of qualifying 3. We got lap times in for most of our drivers, I would say. Jonathan still fastest in the session, 130.9. Lucky still second, Nightshade still third, Peter up to fourth at the moment. Still on another lap, so let's have a look. Actually interesting enough to see if he's trying to get a faster time in here right now. Definitely pushing as much as he can at this point, so let's see if he's going to improve his lap time. As we can see, the timer is definitely up at this point here. All our other drivers should be getting ready to get started with this race because we're about to close off qualifying 3, have the results in for this start and get started on the formation lap. Looks like Peter is now down to 6 with his 131.8. I think it's just Lucky and Jonathan running on track at the moment. That's invalidated for Lucky there, so that's going to be it for him. Jonathan here finishing off his final run here on track 130.9 and improves by a 10, goes up to 130.8. Didn't want to take a chance with that for someone beating his time. So it looks like he has provisional pole for the start of the US Grand Prix. And not going to be bad for him because he's going to be the first one to get around turn 1. Hopefully someone doesn't beat him up the hill for it. So let's see who's going to be starting second. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be Doom Vista and Justin Down in third for the top 3 starting the race there. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Continue on through. I don't think anything should change. So let's I'm going to have all the drivers get ready for the race there right now, formation lap, and then getting straight into the race. We're waiting for the results here for Q3 before moving over to the race session itself. But that's a pretty good qualifying from the guys here from NOMEX Championship Tier 1. That's quite interesting from Q1 all the way to Q3. We're going to see how well this race is going to go. Hopefully, the guys can keep it as clean as possible. And hopefully, minimum amount of safety cars, maybe just one or maybe none. We'll see what's going to happen. We usually do expect, most of the time, we're going to expect possibly to have a safety car at the start of the race, just because of what can happen in turn 1, but never know what's going to happen further on into the race. We'll see what's going to happen. It can end up actually being all clean through T1 and continue for the entire first lap, and we'll see what happens then. But either way, should be an interesting race to watch here. Once again, guys, in the meanwhile, we're waiting for I think everyone to just get across the line, so if we can continue on to the next session there. Please, guys, make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and do follow us on Twitch and on Facebook. All links are available in our Discord channel. The link for the Discord channel is available in the description of the video, so do check it out and join that on. Alright, so qualifying 3 results here. Provisional pole. So for Jonathan there, is going to be starting P1. Alongside him on the front row is going to be Doom Vista starting second. We got Justy starting third, and Lucky joining him on the second row for 4th place on the grid for that start. Night Shadow starting 5th, Peter starts 6th, Paul in 7th, Ice 1 in 8th, and Kiddo starts 9th on the grid. Let's see how well that race start is going to go. Fastest time was a 130.8 here for qualifying 3, not a bad time. And we're waiting for the formation lap session to just load and get straight into the race there now. Okay, so getting started with the formation lap, we got all 20 drivers on the grid here at the moment, and trying to get around. Let's get a few stats up on screen, which we're going to use. We're going to keep this on tires through the formation lap. Let's have a look at that. So 28 laps here to look forward to for the United States Grand Prix here with NOMEX Championship Tier 1 on IG8Live Esports. We got Jonathan starting P1 on this, Doom Vista in second as we just went to qualifying 3, Justy in third, Lucky 4th. We got Night Shadow starting 5th, Peter in 6th, Paul in 7th, Ice 1 in 8th. We got Kiddo down in 9th. We got TJ Hill starting 10th, Pollock in 11th, J Martz in 12th. We got Project Ross starting 13th, Eruptors in 14th, Lunar Strike starting 15th, Kieran Barr starts 16, Jim Strav in 17, Brad Nathan down in 18, Ace in 19, and Scooby down in 20th on the grid. We can see the mix of strategy going on with the cars. We got quite a lot of cars starting this on the mediums. A few cars are going to be starting on the softs. So let's see what race strategy is going to be like on this one here. So there we go. So it looks like it's going to be a two-stop strategy for most of the cars here. And I think it can be a one-stop strategy for this race, but that's going to be pulling off a medium to hard strategy and trying to finish the race on that there. But either way, they might just try to do a medium soft strategy, or maybe a medium soft medium, or medium soft, whatever they want to do, depending on what the tires they're starting with. So most likely it's a 2-stop for most of the cars. Might be a 3-stop for some of these cars who take damage during the race session itself. We'll see what's going to happen in that case as the guys are getting around the track here on the formation lap here right about now. This is just to get the tires up to temperature before they actually get started with the race there. 2 drivers disqualified from the formation lap already for doing I'm not sure what, but that does tend to happen from time to time. Just ignore that. They will still be able to start the race in their qualifying position on track there. They've just been resetted back to the grid. We're just waiting for the race leaders to get back to the grid starting point and just get lined up back. And I think they're about to get around the final turn here to get that going. Hopefully we have a pretty clean start getting on through turn 1. We're going to see how that is going to go. As you can see, it's pretty high uphill getting up there. Elevation change of at least 133 feet into turn 1. Takes a sharp left-hander, then a right-hander into turn 2, and then into the S sections of 3, 4, and 5. And so let's see what's going to happen between Doom Vista and Jonathan as we're getting started with this here. Just a bit. Let's have a look on board at our last driver here, waiting for him to get sorted on the grid. As we can see, Ace here in 19. Mad Nathan seems to be disconnected from the session. Hopefully that doesn't continue all the way on through. Alright, I think all the cars are ready to go here. We're going to be on board with Doom Vista, and let's see between him and Jonathan there in P1 who gets a better run down into turn 1. Then we're going to switch this back to the overhead view, and I'll let you guys have a look at position change as we get on through. This seems to have a bit of an even start getting on through. They're trying to get side by side, and we're going to have Doom Vista on the inside. Jonathan covers him off actually though, and takes it on the inside, so blocks off both halves as we have one of them going wide. Quite a few drivers do go wide though. I think we got a bit of contact happening down at the back here. A few cars falling out of positions, trying to keep on track as they get on through that opening lap. So far so good. I haven't seen any major incidents happen all the way through as they get on through. There's a few cars side by side still fighting for positions, and that opening lap getting on through. Justy here in 4th, lost the position. Doom Vista lost the position as well. Lucky, unfortunately, has gained 2 positions, but he's going to be under pressure from both of the cars behind him as they're really close by, just about 3 tenths behind. So he needs to be a bit careful with that if he does want to keep that position. Of course, the car behind him is his teammate, so I don't think he needs to be too worried about it. I'm not sure if there's going to be a switch between the Haas drivers on this one here. It just depends on who's faster here, but Lucky did get a pretty good break getting through turn 1. Of course, Jonathan still leads out front, and he's going to continue on with that at least from. Let's have a look further down the grid in the midfield and see what's happening here at the moment. Looks like a pretty close battle going on between the McLaren and the Aston Martin driver there, Project Rod. Let's see how that's working through. Ice One having a pretty good battle with his teammate there as well, I think, for P10. We're trying to have a look on board here what's happening with these few cars as we have a bit of a train happening still on the opening lap, still going on through. We haven't finished the first lap as yet, and everything seems to be fine. We have a yellow flag situation in sector 3. Something's happened down at the back with Lunar Strike, and he is still moving. He's still going through right about now. We have our cars getting through the first lap into lap 2 now, heading on back into turn 1 once again. Let's see how that's going to go, and I think the leaderboard might just be a bit mixed up here, so we're just going to ignore that for now as our drivers are getting through pretty well on that opening lap. We got Jonathan trying to get away as much as he can here. Doom Vista trying to get up a position on Lucky here, who is I think in 2nd. The leaderboard is just mixed up and I'm not sure why. And Lucky goes a bit off track there. Might have cost himself a warning on that one. Won't get a penalty right away. Eruptus now has a 3-second penalty. That's the first penalty of the session here. Scooby already into the pits, took damage on the opening lap. And I think a McLaren Lunar Strike might be going into the pits as well. I'm not sure if we took any damage on that. We'll see what's going to happen in that case. Pretty close gap between Justy and Doom Vista here. So that Haas is definitely under pressure from the Mercedes. Let's see if he's able to catch up on the very long back straight. We do not have any DRS active as yet. That's going to be active after lap 3. just when the drivers start to space out just a bit, just to keep that fair. That's why usually they don't put on DRS for the first few laps. Of course, they do have their ERS to use. That's the energy that the car gains under braking here during the race session itself. So they do have that to use at the moment and can actually make use of it. We're going to put that on and let you guys have a look on what's going on with that there. So 94% on the battery power there for the cars following on with Justice. So it does have a lot to use, and they're going to make use for that as much as they can. Let's take that back off though. I don't think we need that right now. So let's see who we're currently following on with. Going back to Doom Vista here, chasing after his teammate here, Jonathan, getting the fastest lap once again, going into lap 3. And that switches over to Doom Vista now, who is currently running third just behind his teammate. DRS is now online, so for any car within a second of the car in front of them, they're going to have the DRS advantage during the DRS portion of the track. So let's see who's going to be gaining some time out of that. Doom Vista though, chasing after his teammate pretty well, not getting through the S's as well as he thought. He's losing some time through here, and still trying to keep up with his teammate. Lost the gap of a second now, so hopefully he's able to get some DRS off of his teammate, and we're going to see how well that is going to help get her out of the session. Unfortunately, that's one driver out so far. I'm not sure which portion of the track that actually happened on, but seems to be not holding up the race in any way. So as we're going on, we're going to continue on through. Jussie here about 7/10 behind that Haas right about now. Still trying to chase him, gaining a bit of time. We'll see if he's gaining enough time to actually get an overtake done. He's about 3/10 behind him right now. Might have DRS on this lap here. So let's see if that's going to help him possibly get an overtake done or not. Having a look at the rest of the field down at the bottom here, we got Kieran Broad getting about 3/10 behind Pollock down at the back of the grid here. So between the Mercedes and I think that's the Fattori out in front of him. Let's see how that gap is working out. So at the moment, it's starting to increase a bit, so he seems to be losing some time, and definitely lost some time because it's now over a second. We're going to switch this back out front, see what's happening with the midfield of our drivers here. Looks like Lucky takes the fastest lap, at least for this lap going on through. Let's switch this on over into tires at the moment, see what's happening with that. Seems to be a gap starting to form out front between Jonathan and Lucky for the lead of the race. So Jonathan getting away pretty well right about now. Both horses trying to keep up with him and not getting much luck with that. We do have Jussie losing some time as well to Doom Vista there. 1.8 seconds down now. And then we got Project Raw here in the Aston Martin. He's trying to keep up, but lost some time as well. Of course, he is under pressure though from the McLaren behind of him. 4/10 behind is Paul there, and he's definitely catching up. Let's see if he's in the DRS is helping him here, but he's catch up quite a bit, but not going to be able to get a gap to get around at the moment. We do have the Alpine of Ice 1 coming behind that as well. Night Shadow as well within a few tens. So gonna get a bit interesting with these few cars here at the moment. So let's have a look on how this is actually going on through between the McLaren and the Aston Martin on the front. We're having a look at Ice 1 actually trying to catch up to them, and he's doing a pretty good job of keeping the gap as it is, but he needs to keep it under a second to make sure he has that DRS advantage going on through the race here. Lunastrike seems to not be having the best of races there. Didn't have the best possible start. Had a bit of an incident down in the first lap, somewhere in sector 2 to 3, and he's now down at the back of the grid in 19th, and let's see how well he's going to try to improve that as much as he can. Ace is all the way up into 9th right now, so has gained 10 position from the start of this race, running in 9th. He's about 2.9 seconds behind Night Shadow. We already have James Strapp trying to catch up to him. Let's see how that's going to work. And thanks to Mr. Lighty there for following us on Twitch. Good to have more followers on. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream as we have it going on here. So Jonathan still leads 1.6 seconds. Doom Vista trying to keep up, trying to get into that DRS zone, but not having the best of luck out there. Let's have a look down at the back here. In 10th with J Mars, 3/10 behind Jim Strapp there in Aston Martin. He's trying to catch up in the Ferrari, but Let's see if that gap is increasing or decreasing at the moment. Kind of keep it a bit constant as he gets through the DRS zone here right about now. Let's have a look. I think he does have the DRS on, as we can see from that steering wheel. He's going to take it on the outside, on the inside, sorry. I thought he was going to take it on the outside going on through. And let's see if he gets him into that braking zone. The Aston Martin is going to fight it back going on through though. Doesn't go wide, so goes well so far for him. He gets back to position up into 9th. Ferrari back down to 10th. Was a good opportunity for an overtake, but just I think that Aston Martin fought it back pretty well. So James Shaft doing a pretty good job of defending that position there at the moment. Thank you to Buck for following us on Twitch there as well. So that's at least 2 new followers on Twitch for the day, I believe we have there. So good to have you guys following us. I think Wave, someone with name Wave1 followed us earlier on today. And another follower as well. I think at least 4 followers gained on Twitch for today. So thank you guys for following us. Do appreciate that. Of course, if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, please make sure to do that. Because does help us out a lot when you guys are subscribed on the YouTube channel too. And let's keep an eye, see what's happening down in let's go back to the front because Project Raw is catching up, only a 10th behind that Mercedes right now as he gets through here and trying to see if he's going to be able to get an overtake done. Has the McLaren chasing after him as well, 4 tenths behind, a very similar gap to what he has, and tries to take it a bit on the inside there. And let's see if he's going to be able to hold this through. 3 tenths, the gap is starting to decrease a bit here right about now. Should be having DRS, and let's see if that is going to help. And looks like Justy is getting a bit disconnected there as well. He's going to take it wrong on the outside and gets away pretty well. Actually gets the position up quite well there. Has the straight line speed for that, especially with the DRS active on that through there. So that is Project Car up into 4. Justy down a position, unfortunately for that. Still keeping up as much as he can. Out in front, the 2 horses are still chasing after our race leader in the Williams, Jonathan there. Down by a 2.2 seconds though, and they've got about a 6-10 gap between the 2 of them as they're still running at the moment. So let's see how that continues on. We're going to go down to Paul here in the McLaren, see what's happening with him, because about a 4:10 gap. We're having a bit of minor glitches I can see happening. That's where you see cars going a bit off track sometimes here. Let's follow on through with this and trying to have it up close. Who we have at a closer gap? But we do have J Mars getting down behind us. Aston Martin might try to take it on the inside. Let's see what he's going to do here. And we'll take it on the inside of turn 1. Let's see if he's able to get that position up. I'm trying to have, let's see what happens. So they did do a bit of a switch getting through turn 1 into turn 2. He's still trying to hold them off now. There's a bit of disconnection going on someone's end. I'm not sure if it's mine or their end, but we'll see what's going on with that there. So James Shaft down to 10th in the Aston Martin. We got J Mars finally back up into 9th now. Finally got the position away. Of course, we're coming up to the DRS zone again pretty soon there in Sector 2. So let's see if that's going to change anything. If James Shaft can actually keep up as close as possible, he might be able to take some advantage out of the DRS zone coming up here right about now. Let's see if he's going to get any sort of advantage out of this. That was 7-10 gap, 8 tenths as it is right now. Doesn't look like he's gaining much time getting through that section of the track. So I think he's going to stay that way as it is there right about now and getting on through. Let's keep an eye. Let's have a look down here in 13. What's going on with Ace at the moment? He's chasing after Kieran Barr in the Red Bull out in front of him. That car is harvesting energy at the moment, as you can see the light blinking there. He takes it on the inside. Quite a big dive, takes a chance with it, no contact, no damage, and the Red Bull is fighting it back for the position, almost pushes the Mercedes just a bit wide there. And they're still going to fight on through for this position. The Mercedes takes it back on the inside once again, another switch, and the Red Bull switches it back, takes back the position. I'm not sure how much of a switch these two are going to keep doing, fighting it off for 12th position here at the moment. They're still a bit side by side through this, as they're about to get back on that start-finish straight with Ace out in front of Kieran at the moment. Let's see if he's able to hold that position up into turn 1. They're heading right about now, and looks like he's able to hold the position at least for now on board with the Red Bull. Let's see how that's going. He's trying to keep within the slipstream a bit of Ace as he gets on through turn 1. Tries to get a better exit. Let's see who does. And I think he improves his time just a bit down to about 7 tenths. He needs to keep it there if he can as much as possible. We do have a pit stop happening with TJ Hale down at the back there. We're on lap 8 of 28, guys. We still got about 20 and a half laps or so to finish off the race. So quite a distance more to go before we get to the halfway point even here. You can see some gaps are starting to form between most of our drivers. We got 2 drivers out of the session. Luna Strike DNF the session. No safety car in it so far. So quite interesting to see that compared to what we have happened last week with safety car after safety car. So it has been quite an improvement this week. With both of the leagues that we do streams for. So let's see how they finish off the session though. So a bit of a gap starting to form. J Martz here is trying to get ahead of this Aston Martin once again. Has lost the position back down to 9th. Now it's a fight for 8th position between the two of them. We got the Aston Martin trying to get back around him. So there's a bit side by side getting on through sector 3. Let's see who's going to come out in front of this. They do have an Alpine in front of them, just 1.3 seconds ahead. So I think he's trying to keep out of that fight that he has going on behind of him at the moment. Pretty good driving from both of these drivers here to try and keep it at the point that is here right now. We're on board with Jim's Traff to see how close the gap is going to getting into turn 1. Doesn't dive into the inside. Tries to keep the braking zone as equal as possible with the car in front of him. Just trying to keep the gap as close as he can. We have quite a few pit stops happening there right now. Our drivers switching on to soft tires. I think probably some might be going. Some did go onto the hard down at the back. TG Hall went down to the hard tires. Now he's trying to push to the end of the race. We'll see what's going to happen. We do have quite a few penalties in the race session itself so far. Project Rob, Paul, and Justy, they're out in front, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. At the moment, all do have penalties, and a few drivers down at the back of the grid there as well. We're going to see how that works out for them at the end of the race. Of course, getting back out front right now with the Williams driver, leading this race by 2.6 seconds against Doom Vista there, who is currently in 2nd. Both of them running on the same strategy at the moment as it is. We'll see if they're going to change that up when they do decide to do a pit stop here. Of course, they're running on the mediums. They're going to be doing this for a while before they actually do a pit stop. We got Project Raw currently up to 3rd. We got Jonesy running in 4th there at the moment. So let's see how that's going with him. And he's trying to catch up, but he has a 3.5 second gap, so not the best of luck with him there. Does have a McLaren and a Red Bull chasing after him just behind him. So a few cars did do pit stops. This is why these guys are up into the positions that are up to right about now. As you can see, extremely close gap between the McLaren and Justy out in front. Let's see if that's going to improve and possibly get an overtake happen here or not. I'm trying to keep an eye on the rest of the grid as they're getting on through. A 3-second penalty for Ace there. Yep, I had to call it out. And he's into the pits at the moment, trying to get a change of tires on. He's done 9 laps on his softs. Probably is going to go on to a set of mediums here. I'm wondering how much of a possibility it is to do a one-stop strategy from softs to medium or medium to softs in this race. You really would have to do some excellent tire management to actually get that done. Not sure if anyone's going to attempt that, but let's see what's going to happen. So still on with Paul here, chasing after Justy out in the Mercedes in front of him. Out in front, the gap is staying a bit constant around 2.7, 2.8 seconds between Race Leader Jonathan and Doom Vista down in P2. Project Ross still trying to keep up with these guys. Has a bit of a gap both in front and behind of him, so he's kind of safe in that aspect. Of course, does have a penalty to deal with. Not sure how much that penalty is as yet. We'll have a look into that in just a bit. And Paul here running 5th, Night Shadow running 6th at the moment. J Martz in 7th. We got Jim Strop in 8th. And none of the top 8 drivers have done a pit stop as yet. Kieran Barr running in 10th has not done a pit stop as yet either. And he started the race on the soft tires. We're going to see how long that's going to last him. Because remember, those soft tires have a limited span on how much laps they're actually going to be able to run, and they will run out faster than the mediums. You can run longer in a race with the mediums before doing a pit stop. And we have the entire front of the grid doing pit stops here right about now. Race Leader is in with all of the cars behind of him going down to 6th with Night Shadow all in the pits at the moment. So a bit busy in the pit lane as they're getting back out here. We can see Doom Vista coming in the background there in the Haas as well. And I think Yaps are going to stay just a bit constant as they are. Now they have gone on to the hard tires, which means these guys are pushing to the end of the race. It's going to be a one-stop strategy for them. We got a safety car happening here right about now. Something's happened somewhere on the track, and I'm not sure where it is here at the moment. So that safety car provided a good opportunity there where the top front of the grid did their pit stops, and they're now back out. They've saved themselves some time here with the pit stops as well. getting out at the same time during that. So Jonathan still leads even under a safety car at the moment. Already done his one pit stop that I think he plans to do here. That's definitely going to be a one-stop strategy if they're going on to the hards here. We got J Mars now up into third, James Trav now up into fourth. Still have to do a stop. And Project Run now running fifth, Jussie running sixth, has done their stops onto the hards along with Paul there into seventh now. Done his stop already into seventh. And I think these three might be looking to gain a position when those two cars, J Mars and Jim Straff in P3 and P4, do their stops, because they're going to have to do a stop at some point, even if it's after the safety car goes in. We're going to see what's going to happen in that case. Then down to Night Shadow there in 8. He's done a stop, but gone on to the soft tires, which means it's a two-stop strategy for him, because there's absolutely no way those soft tires are making it to the end of the race. He will have to do another stop onto a new set of soft before getting to the end. Ice won there in 9th. On a new set of softs, Pollock in 10th in first set of mediums. We'll see how much he's able to push through with those. And we got Ace there in 11th on the softs as well, which means he's going to be doing one more stop before getting to the end of this race. We got Eruptors in 12th, Lucky down to 13, Peter down to 14, has 5 laps done on his hards, with 2 drivers in front of him with new fresh tires on. Mad Nathan there, fresh hards on as well. We'll see what's going to happen. We already lost 5 drivers for some reason from this race here, following under a safety car at the moment. So Kieran Barr out, TJ Hill is out, Scooby out, Luna Strike out, and Kiddo out of the session. Unfortunately, are down to 15 drivers remaining here. First safety car in the race session. It is right about now, and we're going to have everyone get bunched back up before the restart happens. So this is going to change things up a bit. Going to be a bit of an advantage for some of the drivers. Going to be a bit of a disadvantage for some drivers, like our race leader Jonathan there, who was leading by about 2.8 seconds, is now going to have the Haas driver Doomvista just behind him by about a few tenths. As it is there right now, following on behind the safety cars. As you can see, a lot of weaving on track as they're trying to keep these tires up to temperature, and just waiting for the restart to happen here as they're still getting through. Currently getting through lap 12 at the moment. We'll be heading through to the halfway point of the race very soon. Hopefully by the end of this lap we can get back racing. We're still going to see what's going to happen there. Am I still in the lobby? What is happening to Ace? Is he still in the lobby? Is he disconnected from his car? Because he's asking if he's in the lobby. He seems to be connected to his car, so I'm not sure what's happening. I'm just trying to have a look to see if all of our drivers are connected right now. Mad Nathan not connected to his car. I think all the rest of the drivers are connected, so Mad Nathan's the only driver not connected to his car there right about now. So probably disconnected from the lobby, I'm not sure. Okay, so everyone lined back up behind the safety car. I think it's going in on this lap here. Yep, definitely just went into the pits. So we're about to get back racing here. So let's have a look and see who's going to get a better restart here between Jonathan and Doomvista. We got Jonathan already getting back on the power already, getting through on that straight. Let's have a look on board and let's switch back to over your camera right there. But now see how the rest of the grid is going to be getting through turn 1. A bit of a space between most of the cars as they're getting through. Ace trying to gain a position there between, we got 2 drivers out at the back of the grid. Something's definitely happened. I'm not sure what has happened down in the back, and that might result in a second safety car, or unless those 2 drivers actually just went into the pit lane and I'm trying to figure out what happened now at the back of the grid here, guys. There's absolutely no idea what happened there right about now. We're still racing here at the moment going on through. Let's have a look. Yep, we're definitely racing still. I'm not sure if those two drivers retired into the pits there. That's Pollock and Eruptor there for 14 and 15. Or I think it was just Pollock actually. I think he just retired into the pits. Otherwise, we would have had a safety car because I did think it seemed like something actually happened now at the back. But either way, let's forget about that for now. So back on with racing again. Out in front, Jonathan and Doomvista, both on the same strategy, running a one-stop strategy, both on the same hard tires going to the end of this race, like 1 second gap between them. Doomvista is now going to try to keep that gap under a second if he can to get a DRS advantage going through the rest of the race. We'll see what's going to happen. J Mart's in third, about 2.4 seconds behind. He has some way to catch, but already lost a bit of time on very old medium tires as well, so not going to be as advantageous to him as he would expect here. Of course, James Straff chasing after him and on old tires there as well. Project Raw here, only a 10th behind right about now, trying to get past his teammate here. That seems there's going to be a switch between Aston Martin at the moment, because definitely would expect to have a switch here. James Straff, though, in the way of his teammate. Let's see if it does allow him to go by into turn 1 there. I would expect the team orders would be to have a switch between the Aston Martin drivers, with Project Raw being on fresher tires at this point here. So still a pretty close gap between these two cars. Let's see. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing a switch at some safe portion during the track. I'm not sure if they're communicating with each other or not. So let's see what's going to happen in that case. But they're quite close, dangerously close actually, to each other at this point here. They are going to have Project Raw will get the DRS off of his teammate. Of course, there's a car chasing after him just behind there. And that's just seeing a Mercedes. Let's see what's going to happen going into the next turn. They still keep running just behind each other at this point here. Still about a 310 gap. I'm trying to see if he's going to be pulling out alongside his teammate, which he hasn't attempted to do as yet. Of course, Justin and Mercedes just behind them, 2 to 3 tenths behind, and that's dangerously close. He might be looking to get past both Aston Martins if he can, up into P4. Let's see what that's going to be like, as there's a bit of a switch happening right about now. The Mercedes forces his way past through one of the Aston Martins, and a bit of contact between Project Raw and Justy there, and Justy is up into 4th right about now. Aston Martin is trying to get back going here again. Definitely going to be an investigation going on in with the stewards with that incident that just happened there, because I think someone was at fault with it. Project Raw out of the race, might have retired on track there, or might have just crashed the car into the side. I'm not sure. Either way, it's a safety car for that there, and he's into down at the side of the track there. So not sure what happened to him exactly there. We might have more pit stops being triggered. Jim Straff into the pits. We got lucky getting into the pits here as well. Anyone who needs to get off old tires are going to be doing it at this point here if they haven't gone past the pit lane entrance here. So second safety car of the session here on lap 15 at this point. And we don't have... Well, we just passed the halfway point at least to go through the race. We're now down to 11 drivers. Surprisingly here, we were running pretty well until that first safety car happened and lost a bunch of drivers in this race. Now down to 11th. And let's see what's going to happen. So with Matt Nathan not being connected to his car, it looks like everyone currently in the race will be able to get points. And that is if they're able to finish the race, of course. So let's see what's going to happen in that case. So out in front, Jonathan still leads. Doomvista still runs second. J Mart still runs third. And of course, J Mart's there on very old medium tires. 14 laps done on them so far. He's going to have to think about getting onto a new set of tires. I'm trying to see what's happening. Is he going to be trying to pull off a one-stop strategy of doing a medium to soft strategy? This kind of strategy we talked about earlier on in the session in the race. It's a bit difficult to pull it off, but you have to just have tire management a bit under control to do that. But if he's able to do quite, but the safety car is actually helping him here right now, because he's not running under race pace at the moment. He's just running way low in terms of speed, and just not wearing away the tires as much. So he might just be able to pull off doing a medium to soft strategy. He's done about 14 laps on this so far, and is now into the pace. Let's see what he's going to be doing, if he's going on to hards or going on to softs, because at this point, going on to soft tires, you would have to try and make it all the way to the end of the race. If it does go on to the hard, definitely he's doing that one-stop strategy. He's going on to the soft tires right now. So which means he's definitely going to be pushing these soft tires all the way to the end. Now, of course, he's not going to be needing to do a full, let's see how much laps. We're going to have at least a lap more under the safety car, I assume here, which takes us to lap 17. So at least about maybe 12 laps or so he might have to pull off on that set of tires. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm trying to think of the amount of racing laps he's going to be doing on them. And at this point, it seems very possible that Jay Martin is going to be able to finish his race on those soft tires. And he's going to have quite a bit of an advantage as well. He now has a 10-second gap to the car in front of him. Under the safety car, he's going to be able to catch up. And he will have that advantage of being on the faster tires and possibly be able to get himself onto a podium position to finish this race. Because currently we got Doom Vista now leading the race, 4 laps on his tires. Justin now into second place with 4 laps on his hards. We got Jonathan, who was leading the race before the safety car. He took a pit stop, went on to a new set of mediums. He's now down to third, and he's going to have a slight more bit advantage to those 2 cars in front of him, and he's going to try to get past them in the remaining laps of this race, and he's going to have just over 10 laps to do that. So I think it might just be possible that this Williams driver might be taking back P1 on the race itself here. Let's see if he's going to be able to finish and possibly win this race still, because he stands a pretty good chance of it. Of course, with Jay Mart chasing after him, though, it's going to be between the 2 of them to see what's going to happen out front. This is going to be quite an interesting change with the safety car happening here, because Jonathan now down to third, still has the chance of getting back up into P1 with the 2 cars in front of him not pitting, running 4 laps on their hards so far. Of course, Justy has a penalty that already puts Jonathan up into second place if he keeps the gap as close as he can, under 3 seconds. So still stands a pretty good chance of getting the win for this race. Jay Marnes, though, in a pretty good position of getting either on the podium or possibly winning this race as well, being on those soft tires, and he's going to try to push all the way to the end. Let's see what's going to happen in that case. Looks like we're going to be going one more lap under the safety car, because we're still following through with him here at the moment, getting back onto the start-finish straight. So we're getting into lap 17 right about now. We're going back racing into lap 18. That gives us about 10 plus laps to finish the race. So give it about 10.5 to 11 laps. I think maximum 11 laps. I think those soft tires definitely will last on racing laps through that. So quite a bit of an advantage there for him. Jim Strav running 11th on fresh softs there. He's going to try to gain as much running as he can. Of course, Ace there on fresh mediums at the moment might be in a slight bit of disadvantage to Jim Strav behind of him. He's going to have to try and keep that gap up of 15 seconds for Jim Strav to catch up. He should be able to catch up by the end of the safety car queue, hopefully, by keeping his delta positive and trying to catch up to the safety car queue if he can. Going to be an interesting change for what happened from the start with all the safety cars getting on through. Man, Nathan still disconnected through this here right about now, so he's not going to be counted on this. He goes to the session so everyone can just drive through his car as it is. Let's have a look at penalties. In the meanwhile, we're following on through with this and about to get back restarted here, so let's just take a look at that as it is there right now. Dear God, what is Ace doing with 16 seconds of penalties? Yeah, so he's gonna get 10 because Mad Nathan will be out of the standings here, so he's gonna be finishing 10th with that amount of penalties, I assume there. Unless he can really work his way up the field. We got Justy at 3 seconds of penalties. Not too bad. Paul and Ison both with 3 seconds of penalties. They're going to be able to work their way around that and possibly get a 3-second gap if they can. We're going to see what's going to happen in that case there. But about to get back restarted, hopefully here, as we're about to get into Sector 3. So let's have a look if race control is giving us that go to get back restarted at the end of this current lap. Alright, there we go. So we have the 5-second penalty for severe collision with Ace. That's from Peter there. And that's going to hurt Peter's race quite a bit there now, because he has a 5-second penalty just for that. Now, Peter's in front of Ace. How on earth did that even happen? I'm not sure. Did he brake test the car behind of him? Possibly what's happening, I'm not sure. Either way, we're just waiting for these guys to get back restarted here into lap 18. We're going to go with about 10 to 11 laps of racing left. Going to be interesting to see what's going to happen between Jonathan, J. Martz, and the 2 drivers in front of them. Let's see how that works out with the strategy, as it is quite a bit different. Night Shadow here looking to gain some ground as well on fresh mediums. Those hard tires are quite a bit slower than the mediums. Of course, this depends on how they perform on this track here, depending on track temperature as well. So let's see what's going to happen as we're about to get back on the start finish straight, getting back started here. Jonathan has a pretty close gap, only a 10th behind right now, and already getting past up into second place before turn 1. He's already gone that position, still finding a side by side with the Mercedes after adjusted to get through. Takes it on the inside, so I think he might have gotten that position up J Mart's now trying to follow him through. And looks like he gets a position up there as well. Justy down to 4th. He's lost 2 positions in this race so far on that restart. And he's going to have to probably hold it there. Those hard tires are not doing him any good. And neither is that penalty that he has there. So Jonathan already up into 2nd place in the race. J Mart's chasing after him, 4 tenths behind. And we're going to see how this is going to end, because Jonathan is now looking to get past the horse in front of him who's leading the race. That's Doom Vista there. He's about to lose that position within the next 2 laps, I would assume here, because Jonathan and J Mars both seem to have the pace to catch up and get these overtakes done. And of course, we're going to have DRS back online very soon. So that's going to be a bit more of an advantage to them there as well. We're going to keep on through with this battle out in front and see how this works out. Ace there, unfortunately, 25 seconds down at the back. He's going to have to try and catch up to get a finishing position here. As you can see, the Williams getting right up to the rear of that Haas. And we got the Ferrari following on just behind. Just he has lost some time, 1.4 seconds behind these guys. We're going to go on board right about now with Jonathan here as they're about to get back onto the start-finish straight, getting into lap 19 in this race. And looks like Doom Vista under some serious pressure right about now in terms of keeping that lead. J Mars on putting on the pressure as well of keeping 2nd place in the race. And I think both of them without penalties. After I was thinking about cutting it on the inside, but just decided to let it go and hold the position there for now, because he knows Jonathan is trying to get past the race leader at the moment as well. So he needs to be extremely careful about this here, and they both need to avoid penalties in terms of getting their overtakes done, as they have enough time to actually get it done. So they're going to have to still get a hard and move on with it and possibly just try to get it as cleanly as possible. 7 laps with Doom Vista on those hard tires there, and he's about to lose that position as Jonathan takes it around the outside, still blocked off, and we'll have to switch it back on the inside on the braking zone. Let's see if he gets it done. The Ferrari is still chasing after them, and looks like he might be able to get that position done easily. And I'm not sure if DRS is back online as yet, but either way, they're going to have J Mars now trying to follow on with Doom Vista. He's either going to be cutting this on the inside or the outside, or possibly trying to keep it, because those two out front are still going side by side as Doom Vista tries to go a long way around the outside and not able to get it back as yet. But he's still fighting on through for this position, and we'll be switching it just a bit. We're going to try and follow on the overhead cam if we can here and see what's happening with the top 3. But an interesting battle going on for the race win at the moment between these 3, and they're putting Doom Vista down to P3, so both drivers are up ahead now. We got Jonathan now leading the race. We got J Mars now up into 2nd. Now he's going to be between the 2 of them. J Mars about 6 tenths between the 2 of them out in front. So let's see if he's able to get ahead and possibly take away the race win away from Jonathan. He does have to get into the lead. We have DRS is now online, so that's going to be a bit of an advantage. And Peter getting another penalty. He's down in 8 at the moment there. We're going to try and keep an eye on the rest of the grid if we can as we get on through with this. We got Doom Vista losing a bit of time. He's still about 4 tenths behind, but starting to lose a bit of time there right now. Justy falling along the order once more. He's down to 6th position, trying to get back up into 5th. So he's fighting for a position down at the back there. 8 tenths is where the gap is at the moment between Jonathan and J Mars for the lead of the race. He's trying to keep it under a second and trying to keep himself within DRS range at the moment. Those soft tires are only going to be good for a certain amount of laps before they start to lose a bit of life in them. So let's see, he's gonna have to actually just push as much as he can in this first few laps with them, getting possibly up to lap 24 if he can, and possibly getting the overtake done by then. But he seems to be losing some time. Jonathan already out ahead by 1.2 seconds, keeping him out of DRS range. He's only going to be able to realize just use the ERS and possibly see if he's able to catch her back and get back within a second. Not seeming to be that easily done at the moment. Doom Vista though chasing after both of them and still within a 7/10 gap ahead to try and get up to them. Let's see if he's able to do that. Trying to follow what's happening down the back there. A bit of a switch happening. Justy down to 8 right now. Not having the best of races after that restart there. Got Ace here catching up to Peter right now, 5.5 seconds, so he's trying to catch up as much as he can. Jim Strav here very close behind Ice 1, trying to get into 6th position. Both of them having penalties. We'll put penalties on at least by lap 26, so you guys can have a look and see what the finishing positions will be with our top 4 drivers though without any penalties. And well, Mad Nathan is not going to be counted with that there. We got side-by-side action going on with Ice 1 and Jim Strav here into turn 1. As the Alpine loses a position here, down to 7th now. He's going to try to follow on with the Aston Martin in front of him. Let's see if he's able to do that. A pretty close gap still though. Might try to stay in that slipstream as he gets on through the S's here. and it's pretty easy to lose some time and gain some time as well through those SS section. Let's see if both of these guys can avoid penalties as it is there right now. Justy and Peter both into the pits at the moment, possibly trying to fight for a fastest lap in the race. We'll see what's going to go on with that. Out in front, 1.6 seconds is what the gap is between Jonathan and J. Martins. Unfortunate that J. Martins is not able to keep that gap under a second to try and challenge Jonathan for the lead of the race and possibly a race win as well. Up here with Night Shadow chasing after Doom Vista in the Red Bull. Let's see if he's able to get a position of trying to run the outside. Not close enough to actually get the overtake done, but still going to follow him on through this current lap into Sector 3. They go here at the moment. A few cars in front of them. So let's see how that's going to work. A gap is staying a bit constant, about 5/10 right about now. Trying to follow on board a bit and see how close he's able to keep. He's trying to break the gap down just under 5/10 at the moment. Going on to about 3/10. He needs to keep this on through. Going into a DRS zone possibly is what's going to help him get that overtake done and get onto a podium position here. Or he's going to try and possibly force Doom Vista into getting a penalty, and that's going to automatically put him up position after the race is over here. Let's see if that's going to happen. You can see the race leader getting around turn 1, followed by J. Mars here, and then we got Doom Vista just in front of Night Shadow here. A pretty close gap between these two to still continue at 3/10, and they're going to continue on into lap 22 at the moment, getting very close to close off this race here. See, Ace is already up to 8. Of course, a 26-second gap now to catch up to Ice 1 there in 7. But still, will be getting some decent points there, even though with that position he has there. Just depends on the penalties. He might be losing one of those positions, though, to Justy just behind. Of course, Justy has his own situation with penalties going on as well. We'll see how that's going to work out. But the closest gap we have right about now is with Night Shadow and Doom Vista fighting for the final podium position here for the United States Grand Prix. So let's see how that works out with the next 4.5 laps that we have remaining. Our heavy braking zone keeps it behind. Well, was thinking about actually diving on the inside, but didn't take the chance with it. And it's going to continue on through with our 4:10 gap that he has into Sector 3 here. Out in front, lead is extending right about now between Jonathan and J. Mars up to 2.3 seconds. Of course, J. Mars doing a pretty good job getting away from Doom Vista as well, though. 1.6 seconds is what that gap is. I think he's trying to build a gap just in case he does get a penalty under the pressure that he is right now, trying to keep up with Jonathan to fight for the lead of the race. But of course, that's not going as intended or as expected at this point here right about now. But he still is going to be able to get second place on the podium, which will not be a bad finish for him. Doom Vista, though, really trying to keep up 1.8 seconds. We're on with Night Shadow here, who is just under a lot of pressure to get this overtake done with and not able to find a gap as yet. The Red Bull is struggling just a bit to keep the gap about 4 to 5/10 of what it is right now. Now has a penalty as well, which is possibly going to cost Night Shadow a podium position here. He now needs to force Doom Vista into getting a penalty to even this out if he wants to get any sort of chance in terms of getting that final podium position. Let's see how that's going to work out. All the rest of the drivers on the grid currently have penalties as it is. We're going to have a look at the penalties in just a bit and see what that situation is actually like. Unfortunate that we lost half of the grid in this race on that first safety car. I'm not sure what happened there exactly to cause so many drivers to go out. But 2 safety cars in the race so far, not overly bad. We're still able to finish the race, hopefully, with the 10 drivers that we have remaining. Mad Nathan not being counted on this because he's disconnected from his car for majority of the race there. Gap is now a 10th between Doom Vista. Now he needs to get Night Shadow needs to get ahead of that Haas and needs to create a gap of 3 seconds to keep the podium position if he does want it. So let's see if he's actually going to be able to get the overtake done by at least lap 25, because he's going to need a few laps. And he goes wide on the exit of that turn there, so that's going to cost him some time as well. Gap is now back to about 5 or 6 tenths. He's trying to keep as much as he can here. I think Doom Vista doing a pretty good job out front of keeping a bit calm and just trying to make sure he doesn't invalidate the lap. Of course, he will be able to check and know that the car behind of him has a penalty, and he's going to feel a lot, I think, safer knowing that. Even if this car gets ahead, he's going to try to keep his gap within 3 seconds to still keep 3rd place on the podium at the end of the race. We got Ice 1 into the pits there right about now. That's going to put Ace up very close up behind of him. So let's see how that works out. If Ace is going to be able to gain another position there on track or not. Out in front, gap is still extended between our top 3. Jonathan out by 2.8 seconds. JMar's out by 3.1 as it is at the moment. All 3 drivers currently on the podium running on a very different strategy. and very different tires there. So let's see how that keeps up with them. We did expect that Jay Morris might stand a chance actually of catching up to Jonathan and possibly getting a race win here, but of course that's only going to happen if Jonathan somehow gets a penalty, and Jay Morris will have to keep that gap within 3 seconds. He's now up to 2.7 seconds. He's losing a bit of time as we go on through. Night Shadow trying to go side by side with the Haas, and looks like he gets the position up into third and loses it back though as the Haas goes around the outside. Let's see, this is going to be a switch by switch, and let's see how this is going to happen. Looks like for now the Red Bull driver might be able to keep that position, and Doom Vista gets a penalty as well. He's forced into a penalty, so this is kind of evening it out. Night Shadow will be able to hold on to a podium position if a penalty stays as it is. Let's have a look. So it's a 3-second penalty for both Night Shadow and Doom Vista at the moment. Paul there with a 6-second penalty. James Strap behind him with a 3-second penalty. That's going to be a switch between 5th and 6th at the end of the race there. Now we go down to Ice 1 about 25 seconds behind. Only has about 6 seconds of penalties, so he's going to keep that position. Ace there, 7.3 seconds behind with 25 seconds of penalties. Will possibly losing that position to Jussie, who's in 9th, and I think that's just his teammate there. So there can be a switch between our Mercedes driver there. So Jussie will go up to 8, and Ace is going to go down to 9th. Peter will be able to take 10th on the grid, and that's going to finish it off for the top 10 getting points, at least for there. So we're going to keep an eye out in front. Jonathan and Jim are still actually in the positions that they were for the past few laps going on through. We got about 3.5 laps remaining right now. We're into lap 25. It's a 3.3 second gap, so even if Jonathan gets a 3-second penalty, he's still going to win this race and keep that race win. J Martin will have to still keep second place on the podium, and Night Shadow right now is behind by 2.8 seconds. I think J Martin is trying to improve that gap over 3 seconds if he can, just in case he does get a penalty. But of course Night Shadow already has a 3-second penalty, so that's going to even it out even if J Mars gets one. So it looks like he's keeping second place on the podium. Night Shadow will be keeping third. Doom Vista 1.5 seconds behind. He's lost some time and already looking to lose another position here to the McLaren, who's alongside him trying to get around on the outside. Not able to get that move done as yet, so it looks like he might be losing another position, might be having some problems with the car, I'm not sure, but looks like he's going to fall down the order and possibly get down to 5th here. We'll see what's going to happen. Of course, Paul has a 6-second penalty, so it looks like Doom Vista will get back that position either way, still be finishing 4th after getting across the line, even if he does get across the line in 5th. You got Jim Straub though chasing after the McLaren there, looking to get up that position himself, so let's see what's going to happen in that case there, because if he does get ahead of Doom Vista, he can keep 4th position. We're into lap 26, 2.5 laps remaining to go before we close off the United States Grand Prix, and has gone quite interestingly well, especially in the second half of the race here so far. And we got a bit of an issue there with the McLaren going into the wall, losing the front wing, and that's going to be some heavy damage on that front wing, and I'm thinking he's going to have to do a pit stop here, get that change, and then get back out on track. Not sure if he lost the rear there, guys. I don't think he was close enough to have contact with anyone. Unfortunate for that happening. I think he might have just put a bit too much power into the exit of that turn and lost the rear, and just lost it into the barriers. Of course, still good enough that he hasn't DNF'd the session, because that would have resulted in no points for the McLaren driver. I mean, he's the only McLaren left in the race there. His teammate Luna Streck is already out, and looks like Peter has retired from the session, and that's a bit unfortunate. That's possibly a safety car here. Something's happened here. Trying to see what's happened out front. It's currently a yellow flag situation. Let's see if that's going to change into a safety car. I'm not sure if it's blocking the track or not. We should be able to see that car as we get around the turn here. And there's this car at the side of the track. Not sure what happened there. Looks like he bit it into the barriers down at the side. Doesn't look like it's blocking the race, and we're right down to the end of the race either way, because we don't want to be finishing the race under a safety car. So we're going to continue on with it as it is here right about now. Top 2 drivers, Jonathan and J-Mod, still having no penalties in this race as they get on through with it. 4.2 seconds is what the gap is between them. Night Shadow still running third, a 3-second penalty. Doom Vista still running fourth, a 3-second penalty. Will be finishing as they are there. Jim's driver up to 5th, will be able to finish right there. We got Paul in 6th, will take that position. Ice One will take 7 if everything continues as it is there right now, with Ace finishing 8, Justy in 9th, and possibly a bit of a switch between those two Mercedes drivers we talked about earlier. With the amount of penalties that they have, they're gonna have to do a switch in terms of positions after they get across the line. We'll see what happens with that. They will still get some points for finishing the race, so we'll see what's gonna happen in that case there. Alright guys, so coming into the closing portions of the race here, right about number on lap 27 of 28 at the moment. Following on with Jonathan, let's see where he is into sector 3, about to enter into the final lap here. Following on with Night Shadow at the moment here, he still has about 7 tenths between him, now down to 6 tenths between him and J Martz as they all enter into the final lap here for the United States Grand Prix with NOMEX Championship Tier 1. Has been quite an interesting qualifying session into a very interesting race start. Was quite clean through the race start. Didn't expect that actually happened. It was like Jussie and Ace have already switched positions there, so they'll be finishing right where they are there at the moment. We'll see how that goes through down to the end of this race there. Mad Nathan might be not before this race is over. We'll see what's going to happen with that there. Of course, this car not having any points either because disconnected from it for majority of the session there. Alright guys, I'm going to switch this back over right about now. Let's see what's happening though with J Martz. I just saw he's down to third on the grid. So it looks like the Red Bull has gotten the overtake done. He's got the position up into second place, but only a 5-10 gap on the final lap of the race. So he's not going to be able to keep that position. He's still going to fall back down to third place on the podium. J Martz will still be getting second place at the end of this race, even though he's going to go across the line in P3. Unless for some reason he crashes out in the final sector here. We got Jonathan about to get around the final turn and take the win for the United States Grand Prix. Not a bad finish for him. Qualified P1 in the race and had a pretty good strategy going all the way through. So he finishes, takes the podium for that. J Martz comes across the line in third, but takes second place. Night Shadow comes across the line in second, takes third place. We got Doom Vista goes across the line, takes fourth. Jim Straff taking fifth. We got Ice One should be coming around in just a bit, and he should be taking sixth. Justy there will take seventh place on the grid, and then we do have Paul, who is only 1.8 seconds behind with a 6-second penalty. It looks like it might be a switch between P7 and P8 here. We're waiting to see what's going to happen in that case as they're coming around. The Alpine gets across, takes 6 on the grid there. Let's see, we got Jesse and Paul coming through. 2.9 seconds is going up to 3.1 seconds. Not sure what's happening with Paul along at the back. He's trying to keep him, but he can. Might just be a switch between these two cars for the positions there. Alright, so that was quite an eventful race, getting on through the second half of it, especially with the safety car and causing at least half of the grid to be out of it. James Straff takes driver of the day, and not a bad finish for him depending on where he started as well. We'll have a look at the preliminary results before all the incident reports goes into the stewards for them to actually deal with that. So let's have a look and see what happened in that case. Alright, so there we have it. Race winner there, Jonathan, started P1, qualified P1 in Q1 session and also in Q3. Took the start in P1, got a pretty good race as well. Did only about 2 stops in the race, finished P1, take the win. J Martz finishing second on the podium. We got Night Shadow takes third place on the podium there, and a not a bad finish for him, showing that it's a home Grand Prix for him there as well, as we can see the flags for the drivers as well there. So Doom Vista there takes 4th on the grid, James Straff finishing 5th, Ice One takes 6th, Paul takes 7th, Jussie takes 8th, Mad Nathan there takes 9th, but of course not going to get any points for that because didn't actually drive in the race. And the rest of the drivers were out, so no points for anyone else. Only the top 8 drivers will be getting points on this one here, and I think that's going to be it there, guys, for this session there. You're going to join us again on Thursday for round 2, the United States Grand Prix once again, but it's going to be with Tier 2, a different group of drivers here for NOMEX Championship. I'm going to see how that race is going to go, and yep. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the session. Thank you guys for joining on, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Don't forget, guys, to follow us on Twitch, on Facebook, and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel.